So hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and as usual here's another video. And in today's video I want us to focus on these two documents, that is the I-134 for the Affidavit of Support and the DS-5540 for the public charge. I'm going to explain why they are both important. Even if you are not requested for the I-134, it is still important. I'm going to explain why. So without much ado, I make these videos out of experience. I'm a DV Rotary winner for the DV 2020 and my case was successful and all went well. That's why I try to help people who are in that process so that they can understand what to expect, what is ahead of them, and what they should be preparing for. So without much ado guys, subscribe, and still you can visit us on the Facebook page, that is DV 2021 updates. Without much ado, let's start the video now. So to start with, I would like to make it clear that the DS-5540 is a compulsory document for whichever embassy you are. It's a compulsory document. But the I-134, I-134, that is for the Affidavit of Support. Some countries it's a must for you to have it, and some countries it's not a must. But you will learn this when you get your appointment letter. They will have the list of documents you should carry when you are attending the interview. And again, to talk about that, the I-134 is filled by the sponsor. He will fill it, print it, and also sign it and scan to you. For you, you just have to carry it when you're attending the interview. The other thing, the DS-5540, you are the one to fill it as the applicant. You are the one, because that document always try to test you or try to, they are trying to determine whether you will be a public charge. When you are given a visa, will you go to depend on the United States government for your survival, like the public funds and all that? That's what they are trying to avoid. So the public charge document is a compulsory. So what do they look about? What are they focusing, or what are they trying to look, or what are they trying to assess from you? That is one thing you should think about, because they are trying to figure out whether you are likely to be a burden in their government. So what are the factors they are trying to figure them out? So that is, I already made a video on the key factors, the basic common factors they test on the DS-5540, and the video is on the link in this corner. So let me highlight some of the factors just randomly. One, it's about the age. If you are age between 18 to 61, around there, you are considered to be active, and for that matter, they understand that even you get to the United States, you are likely to, you are strong, you are active, you can work for your bills and everything and avoid being a public charge. The other thing is about your health. If you are quite good health and all that, and maybe you have an insurance cover and all that stuff, then you are way up to, somehow you are way up, okay, you are in a good position. The other thing they try to check is about your educational skill. If you have high quality education or high level PhD, masters and all that, you are way better. And also the skills, maybe you have some high skills in the employment and all that. They consider those skills and an added value, so that you can utilize the skills in the United States, and you'll be you'll get paid and all that stuff, and you won't be part of the public charge. You won't depend on their public resources. The other thing is about if you have some family or relatives in the United States. If you have, they consider that when you get there, they might help you until you get stable, and with that you might not end up being a public charge. The other one, and now here is where the Affidavit of Support comes. The other basic factor they look on the DS-5540 is about the public charge. Is about the Affidavit of Support. Affidavit of Support, what is it? Affidavit of Support is a document signed by a sponsor, that is someone in the United States, who declares that he will take care of you, that is in terms of bills and all that, until you stabilize in the United States. So if he can declare that he will take care of you in the United States, then automatically you won't be considered to be a public charge when you are there. So that's where the I-134 form comes in. If you have a sponsor who earns a lot of money, good money, who is stable and all that he does is the tax, fearing the tax and all that according to the government of the United States, and he makes good money, and then that sponsor declares, they do it in the writings and they sign that I declare that the responsible person, I'll sponsor them until, okay, it's around for 6 months, and for those 6 months, of course, you'll be stable. So having a sponsor, having that document I-134 boosts you at a high rate on the form DS-5540, of which is a mandatory document. So I hope you can relate why the I-134, even if it's not requested, how it will help you on the DS-5540. Because one of the factors they check on the DS-5540 is the issue of the affidavit of support, whether you have someone who can sponsor you in the United States, and of which, if you are sponsored, you will not end up being a public charge. So I don't know whether you guys can relate what I'm trying to say. And the other thing, for that I-134 form, the sponsor has to fill the information about his earnings, his paychecks, tax, the tax receipts and all that stuff, his information. And the government will, the consular officer who will be checking your DS-5540, if you have that I-134 form, that is affidavit of support, he will counter check, he will see how much the sponsor earns, how much, the size of the family he has, and the size of your case number. If you have families, you have to compare the sponsor's family and your family and the total earnings the sponsor makes. It's a quite big issue about the I-134. But if you can access it, if you have somebody in the United States who can accept to act as your sponsor, please, even if your country they don't request for the I-134, please have it. It will boost your status on the DS-5540, of which that DS-5540 is a compulsory document. Because the DS-5540 talks about the assets. How can you prove that you want to be a public charge in the United States? What resources do you have? Do you have money to sustain you in the United States? That's where they even ask about your bank account statement, how much money you have with you. So they are trying to figure out whether if you are issued that visa and you go to the United States, whether you will be stable, whether you will, whether you will depend on the public funds. If you are likely to be depending on the public funds, then you are considered to be in the public charge, and they don't like that. You might be denied the visa because of that. But if you have that I-134, the I-134 might not be compulsory in your country, but even if it's not compulsory, when the consular officer or the interviewer in the embassy is checking the DS-5540, the I-134 is one of the basic factors they check. If you have a host or if you have a sponsor who is well paid and stable in the United States, then he can sponsor you and you are not ready to be a public charge. I hope now this is clear. So even if your country they don't request for the I-134, that is affidavit of support, if for yourself, if you can access somebody to sponsor you, somebody who is willing to sign that I-134 document for you, please have it with you and still take it with you in the interview. In case they request for it, give them. In case they don't, still go back with it. Just be on the safe side. Have as much documents as you can, because sometimes there are many cases where people attend the interview with few documents, but it leads to your visa being delayed. Like you attend, you don't have some documents, then your case is being not suspended, but it's kept in the administration process. That means you are not issued the visa and still you are not denied. You are given sometimes like maybe 2 weeks, go bring this and this document. So why should you risk such? Just carry even excess document. There's no problem with that. So long as what they ask you, just give. If they don't ask the others, have them back with you, and there's no problem with that. So for those people who are confusing about the affidavit of support and the public charge, the affidavit of support, it's not mandatory document. It's not a must document to some countries. Some countries it's a must, but some countries they don't ask for it. But even if they don't ask for it, I already explained why it is still important if you have it with you. It will boost your DS-5540. That is the public charge, of which the DS-5540 is a mandatory document to all countries. I hope now that one is making sense. You need them. You need them like both. But one is mandatory, that is the DS-5540 about the public charge. But the other one is the I-134 Affidavit of Support. For the Affidavit of Support, some countries you must have, some you don't need it. But even if you don't need it, if you carry it with you, the Affidavit of Support talks about that person who is willing to sponsor you. And if you have a sponsor, then you are not likely to end up in the public charge. And the public charge, they are looking whether you are likely to be a burden to the United States government, depending on the public funds and all that. And if you have this, I-134, the sponsored document, you can prove in that Affidavit of Support, as they will request it. There is a request of if you have a sponsor, if you have the Affidavit of Support. So if you have it, then you are way better, and you are not likely to end up in the public charge. So guys, I hope that is clear. For those who are confusing, I hope now it's somehow clear. To add on that, there is the issue of the education. Let me some people are still asking about the education, and I think it's good to touch it on as we conclude. Education, there's one person who asked about his education. He's qualified for the high school level, but he had been studying for like different schools. That is, for the 4 years he was in high school, he went to different schools. So he was asking if he can fill both the schools, all the schools. Then there's no need for that. The reason they're asking for the high school, they want the certificate. So the only school you are supposed to fill is the school in which you have the certificate from. That school where you completed your high school level, and that school that issued you the certificate. The certificate is all that matters. So whether you went for like 4 schools before, or 3 schools, or even 2, it doesn't matter. You can still go ahead and feel you attended only that one school. They're not going to check, they are not going to follow up on the number of school you went with by year. No, they are just concerned with the certificate. If you have that certificate, despite whether you went for 3 or 4 schools before, they don't matter. It's good, just fill that one school for the 4 years. There's no problem with that. And also, for those who are still confused when to fill the DS-260, please, there's no time, there's no like specific month or date that you should fill the DS-260. It's any time you have your documents, you have everything that is being requested, go ahead. Whether it's now, tomorrow, the time you feel that now I have all the documents requested, go ahead and fill it and submit. And please, as usual, avoid mistakes. Avoid mistakes. And if at all you make a mistake, you don't have to worry. You can still send an email to the KCC, request them to unlock your document or the DS-260, then you can do some revision and then submit it back. There's no problem with that. But avoid those situations where you are contacting them. You just focus on the right way and everything will flow by itself. And again, after you submit the DS-260, some people are like, should I still focus? When am I supposed to submit the documents? I did a video on the documents, and the link is still available in that corner. And about the documents, after you fill the DS-260, you just stop and wait. You won't get a message from them that we received your DS-260. No. You submit, you have the confirmation page, then be sure it's gone. After that, relax. After sometimes 2 to 4 months, around there, you will receive an email from KCC. They will be requesting the documents. And until then, that's when you submit the documents. And once you submit, you'll get an auto response message to confirm that they have received them. Then after a period of a period of like 6 weeks after you send the documents, they will contact you back to tell you congratulations, all your documents were received and they are complete. But if they are not complete, if there is an issue with some of the documents, they will still tell you and you can resend it back. There's no problem with that. And the issue of the interview and the visa bulletin, some people are asking when the visa bulletin is starting. The visa bulletin is likely to start on October, but we don't know this year. The 2020 cases are still pending. You never know whether they will be extended or not. We don't know about that. But if they are not going to be extended, then for the DV 2021, it will start on October. And for that, you can determine your case number. According to the region, you can learn how to read the visa bulletin and all will be well. So for those who are asking when the interviews will start, it's not now. It's around after October. And it will depend on your case number. The lower you have, the higher you might get interviewed. Okay, the lower case you are having that you submitted the DS-260, the documents, and the documents were confirmed. Until then, until you receive a document confirmation message, then you can be sure you are just waiting for the interview or you are just waiting for your case number to be current. I've done a lot of videos about the visa bulletin, the case being current, and even submitting documents. I think I've done like even I did a video explaining the steps, all the steps from after being selected way up, even up to the interview. I just did a review and that video is available here in this corner. So you don't have to worry. You have to, if you are confused at a point, drop that comment there on the comment section. I'll explain to my level best. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you. Share this video to those who want to learn about the DV Rotary program, how it goes and all that. And if you still do, okay, so another issue is about the passport. Some people are saying that, okay, I applied for my family, I won, but my children don't have the passport. Whether they should submit the DS-260 without the passport, it's not that important. Please wait until you have the passports. Fill them, because even if you submit without the passport, they won't go ahead, they won't even revise, they will, I don't know, you have to again send them the email to unlock it so that you can send the passport, because they won't revise half documents. Because if you don't, they request you for the passport for the kid, but for you don't submit. What does that mean? That is a half document. Avoid that. Take your time. Even if your case number is as low as 1,000 and you have a child and he or she does not have a passport, you better not be interviewed on the first month, and your interview will be, even if you delayed to submit some documents or anything, you cannot be denied an appointment for the interview. What it will happen, you will be pushed to another month, to some far months. And it's better to even get an interview on a later month than get it on the right time with half documents, with the tension that, oh, I did a mistake, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. No, just take your time, grab all the documents that are required in the DS-260, then go ahead. And once you have those documents, don't waste time. Fill. And those error messages that are coming, we agreed you can log out and log in again. And again, people are asking about the spelling. Some names, you did the application on the application stage, maybe you did an spelling mistakes. Please, all those spelling mistakes you did on the application, whether it's the date of the whatever case, any mistakes you did on the application stage, DS-260 is the place where you can rectify everything, because the DS-260 form, that is what they will revise and they will believe that is who you are. So on the interview, if you go contrary to the DS-260, then you are risking a chance of being denied a visa. So DS-260 is the platform to make all your corrections. I hope that is clear. And also some people who are having some issues with the, logging into the DS-260, maybe their name had some apostrophe. Please, sometimes you have to ignore the apostrophe. There is no problem with that. Proceed without those apostrophes and all that. But even if your passport has it, and now on the document you fill without, there's no problem with that. It's very okay. Personally, my name had that apostrophe. I had to ignore it. And at the interview stage, there was no problem with that. So guys, thank you for watching. Share it with your friends who want, some people who want to learn about this. and see you in our next video, because we upload videos on a daily basis. Those questions you drop on the comment section, I correct them, research about them, and out of my experience also, I make a new video to explain to as many people who might be stuck at the same. So thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.